Welcome to Women Mastering Midlife, where we dive deep into the rich complexities of womanhood in our middle years. I'm your host, Victoria Bird, a pharmacist, certified women's health coach, and your guide on this transformative journey. Whether you're navigating perimenopause, thriving in menopause, or mastering midlife's many transitions, this is your weekly dose of expert guidance, compassionate support, and a judgment-free space to explore it all. Together, we will rewrite the narrative around this remarkable stage from being something to dread into a beautiful transition. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Monika Nielsen, the transformative force behind Your Closet Therapist. She's not just a wardrobe consultant, she's a guide who understands that every piece of clothing in your closet tells a story. And sometimes our stories need a little gentle rewriting. Whether you're navigating an empty nest, stepping into a new career, or finding yourself again after divorce, Monika knows that the daily battle with your closet is about so much more than clothes. It's about reconnecting with the woman you've become, honoring her journey, and dressing her with the love she deserves. In this conversation, we explored how to move beyond the emotional roller coaster of nothing fits and nothing feels like me to create a wardrobe that celebrates your present self. Because you deserve to walk into your closet and feel peace, possibility, and power. You can find Monika's work on Instagram at Style Closet Coach, or you can visit her website, styleclosetcoach.com. But for now, settle in, enjoy your walk or your drive to work as we get into the art of dressing your truth in midlife. Hi, Monika. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with me. We have been talking back and forth a little bit about how our client base kind of intertwines with each other. And I think that it's a great opportunity with the new year to just get into not just the health side of starting a new year and starting a fresh outlook on things, but also how you present yourself to the world. So I'm really glad to have you.
I am so excited to be here. Let's squash this new year mentality.
I know. You know, I've never been a big fan of New Year's resolutions. And the older I get, like, we don't need to do that anymore. And one of the biggest resolutions that always seems to fail women is I'm going to drop 25 pounds or I'm going to fit into those jeans again. And so we're going to talk about some ways that you work with clients and you help them to discover that what they have, the body that they have and what they're and how to wear and how to dress it is just as important as the idea of a goal of fitting back into those jeans from 1995.
Exactly. Or even 2020, right? So
That's
it doesn't
true.
have to be a long time, especially I find as we're in this middle space. You know, my friends and I used to joke in our 30s, like, oh, we're just one stomach flu away from fitting back in those pants. So I don't know how healthy that was, but it was a joke. It was an ongoing joke. And, you know, once you hit that 45, 50, I'm 54 and, you know, those kind of games just don't work anymore. So, but for whatever reason, it's been so ingrained that we can just drop this or do this or quick fix and it's all going to be okay. And for some reason, this holy grail of those jeans just sit there and they're supposedly motivating, but we all know they're not. Because what I find and what every client I have does this, you look at it and it's not just, well, let me wait until I can get back in those, or this is going to be so motivating. We always turn it on ourselves. Instead of, let me do better, it's, why can't I just?
Yeah.
Why can't I just eat better? Why didn't I get to the gym? Why did I go have happy hour with my friends? And it's never about this piece of cloth. It's always about what we're not accomplishing. So it just, it goes so deep and so negative so fast. It just messes with us as we're standing there naked, you know, our most vulnerable space in our house, you know, with a bathrobe and a towel on our head, trying to figure out how to get ready. And you've spent the first 10 minutes of your day just beating yourself up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, you know, women, we go to the grocery store and we see the magazines at the checkout stand with the woman with the big pants that they're pulling out that says, you know, drop 20 pounds in 8 weeks, you know, and all these different ideas instead of, let's embrace the fact that there is some evolutionary process happening as we age, that we actually do start to gain weight in our midsections. And it's part of protecting our bodies. There is going to be a little bit of extra fluff that comes along with mid-age. And I think taking care of yourself and and being strong and being healthy is one thing, but having this desire to be small, we need to just get rid of that. We need to put that aside. So tell me what a typical day would look like working with a new client. Like,
all of my clients go through a closet clarity workbook, which is really going to take them through some mindset. I know that's annoying. I know everybody hates it. You just want to skip to the end. You just want to get it done. I know you deal with that constantly, right? Like people will come to you and you'll be like, no, but I just need the result. You're like, but if your head's not in the right place, you'll never get to that result. So we're going to do just a little bit of reframing. Then we're going to really start digging in. We're going to look at your time. So many of my clients keep purchasing clothing for a life they don't live.
Yes.
And that can be on both sides. That could be, I used to work and now I'm home. Well, buying those fun clothes is much more fun than buying clothes to run around with 2 toddlers under 5.
Yeah.
So you can have the most beautifully organized space, which about half of my clients do. It's folded pretty, just like Pinterest, and it's light to dark. And you still walk in there and just feel this agitation of not being able to get dressed for the life that you live. Or you flip it the other way, right? So it doesn't matter where you are. There's a lot of shopping patterns that happen. So I'm going to look at, how do you live your life? And does your clothing reflect that? What about your personality? You know, we spend so much time celebrating these growths of, you know, I'm stronger physically and, oh, I'm so much smarter mentally. And look at all of these things that I've accomplished. And my closet is stuck for a person that I'm not anymore. So we celebrate growth until it comes to our closet. And then we have to fight all these feelings of wastefulness and it's good enough. And, you know, I should be spending money on myself, all of these kinds of things. So we work through that. We work through some style. We work through some personality. How do you need to show up in the world? And that can be different. You know, this whole overarching, I'm a classic natural style. Well, yeah, until I need to get up and speak. And then I need to be powerful. And then maybe I just want to be kind of flirty and fun with my husband. So we can have all these different parts of us. So we start digging through. I'm much more interested when we start getting into your closet of what you don't like as opposed to what you do like. Because that's really where the patterns show up with how you shop. Because good purchasers don't make good shoppers. We start looking at why you're doing it, maybe what your triggers. You know, it's very similar. Shopping is just like eating or drinking or we do it as an escape. We do it because it's a quick fix. We do it because it's a quick dopamine. Ooh, that new shirt's going to fix it all. No, you'll probably wear it once and then you'll remember that you don't really like V-necks and you shouldn't have bought it. And now it goes to the side and it makes you feel guilty every time you open your closet. So we're just trying to clear out that guilt.
Yeah. I also think for me personally, I see a model wearing something and it's either I want to emulate that, like, oh, that I want to be that. And so I get that outfit and then I'm like, where am I going to wear? Where do I plan on wearing this? You know, I mean, even recording podcasts, there are times when I am in a hoodie and I think I'm in sweatpants right now that are, you know, I wouldn't wear them to the grocery store, but you can't see, you know, below me and I'm comfortable. And that's what I need to be in the house most days. And then I look at this picture of a beautiful dress and some knee-high boots and I'm like, oh, I love that. And then I order it and I spend all this money and the tags are still on it. And even when I have an event to go to, I don't gravitate toward it. Like, it's really weird. And I think there's so much psychology in our clothes and what we purchase, not even what we wear, but what we purchase that we don't really think about. So that's really smart.
Well, and it's pulling aside exactly what you just said. You're like, oh, I want to be that girl. Because we've created a life that she lives based on this outfit. Right?
Yeah.
So there's 2 ways this little flow chart could work. You buy the outfit, and then you try it on and you go, where am I ever going to wear this? So you push yourself out of your comfort zone. You're like, you know what? I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it to lunch with my friend, even though we're just going to Chick-fil-A, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to be the best dressed person in the room. So, you know, you can push yourself out of it, or you can really sit with it and say, I will never wear this and return. So many women do not return because they think it's going to be a huge deal. And I'm not here to say that it's not. I mean, it's a bit of a pain, but it's not as much of a pain than losing out on $150. Like
Yeah.
that to me, I am so frugally natured that I have a coupon for celery for 40 cents that King Soopers happened to give me. Like, well, I'm going to buy it anyway. I might as well, save 40 cents. So that pushes me out of that. I'm going to return it. But then that goes back to shopping habits. If we're shopping, let's make sure that we can return easy. Let's just take a second. And I think this is where we cross over a lot too, because I think it's human nature. If we just take a second to realize what we're doing, we can change the outcome. So if I see an outfit on somebody and I really zoom in and I go, oh, you know what? That pocket is on the side seam and that's where I carry my weight. So I know it's going to pucker funny. So I'm not going to buy it.
Ah, okay.
Right? So,
yeah.
Or you look and you're like, wow, she's showing a lot of open neck space. Mm-hmm. I know if I bought that, every time I, dipped down, I would feel like all my bits are coming out, right? So
yeah,
I know I won't ever wear that. So paying attention, like just stopping for a second, say, would this even fit my body? Let alone where would I wear it? I think would stop us from a lot of shopping mistakes.
Okay, so we've talked about how you get into mindset. And now when you're walking somebody through a closet, before we started recording, you talk about, you're purging a lot, and that's you're basically getting into what they don't like. So how do you help someone decide enough is enough, we're getting rid of this stuff?
So when you pick something up, your face never lies. I will automatically tell my clients that every day. I say it on my socials almost constantly. When you pick something up and you hold it next to you and your face gets really scrunchy, and then you start talking yourself into why you should keep it, you're never going to wear it. So I believe there's a core of what we wear. I mean, statistically, we wear like 23% of our wardrobe. And that's mostly because we're not paying attention and integrating and doing things that we'll talk about later. But so you've got your favorites. And the reason that they're always in front of you is because you wear them, and then you do laundry, and then you fold them up, and then you put them right on top, and so you wear them again. So unless you're cycling well, you're only still going to wear that. But let's look at this 80% that you're not wearing. Does it fit you for your body right now today? Because if it doesn't, it needs to get out of that space. I'm not your boss. I'm not your trainer. I'm not your coach. I'm not your mom. But I'm going to tell you, if you can't put this on your body, it needs to get out of your visual space. Underneath your bed, down the hall in another closet, in a bin in the basement. I'm not telling you to get rid of it, because there is a joy in being able to fit back into something when you've worked really hard and you've done whatever you need to in your health journey. But to continue to look at things that do not fit you does you no service. Because that negative loop of, why can't I just fit back into this?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't fit, it's gone. Now let's look at this like second tier, third tier, fourth tier, just in case. So it's the just in case, I think, that kills us a lot. I'm all about a first tier just in case. And sometimes we can get into a second tier just in case, depending on your laundry habits and your lifestyle. But let's face it, you're never going to grab that third navy blue sweater, because you're always going to grab your favorite navy blue sweater.
Yeah.
So that's how we sort of tackle it in sections.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's really important for women our age to really love the clothes they're looking at. And I like the fact that I think I saw on one of your socials to get everything out of your visual space. So I did like the dreaded, I had a whole rack of jeans hanging. And I went through and I tried on every single pair. And there were a couple that kind of closed. And I was like, oh, these fit. But then I was like, wait, I can't sit in them. I won't drive in them. Like, I will be miserable. So I'll put them on and they won't fit and I'll be miserable and unhappy. So I did get them all out. They're under my bed. And, hopefully nobody ever looks under my bed right now. Because I didn't do it nicely. I just kind of like got them out of my space. I shoved them as quickly as I could.
A small child cleaning your room, right? You just
I literally hid them. Like, they're hiding. But it did. Now I have, instead of a whole bunch of jeans that I've had, because jeans are great. They never really, they last forever. I mean, you could run them over with a car and they'll still be fine. So they don't wear to the point where you've worn them out, which means you've had them forever. I have jeans from like 10 years ago that were hanging. And I just put everything away. Now I have, a light pair to dark pair wide leg, and I have a light pair to dark pair straight leg, and a dark pair skinny. And that's it. I may never wear the skinny jeans unless I'm wearing like boots or something with them.
Boots, yeah.
Yeah, but it was nice to just know that if I grab a pair, depending on what color I need with my top, they're going to look nice and they're going to fit. And there's something to be said for that lightness in your brain. I feel like we carry enough in our heads anyway. We're masters of the family to-do list and the schedule and all the things. And then you start weighing yourself down with, what am I going to wear? It's exhausting. Or what fits even, and what looks good. Yeah. So
what you've just described is absolutely the magic. You should be able to walk in and everything you pick up fits your body today. Like, honor who you are today. Because what you're really doing by keeping all this stuff in front of you, or telling yourself, I'm not buying anything until I can get back into blah, blah, blah. So what you're really saying is that you're not worth feeling beautiful today.
Yeah. Yeah. We talk a lot about acceptance versus resignation. Like, I accept my body the way it is today. It may not be the way I want it to be, but I'm not resigning myself to, this just is how it is. It's part of getting older. And there's a difference in your mindset when you accept, this is who I am. I love myself. It's my body wakes up every morning. It's a blessing. And wearing clothes that fit you in a body you accept versus resigning to just living, in the state you're in.
Right. Just check it all. Right. So the funny thing about that too is, when you look at who you are today and you're trying to look at a piece from your past, then that's a whole nother level of disconnect. That's what I think a lot of us are missing is when I explain like all this growth that we experience as we get older and all of these amazing decisions that are happening, in midlife, I call it my Monika 2.0. Like, I've lived this whole 20s, 30s into my 40s, and I'm in a whole new fun, new stage. Like, who do I get to be? And why do I keep trying to cram her into something from my past?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's just a piece of cloth. Like, it's just a piece of cloth. Like, we won't even get into the fact that sizes are arbitrary. Every single brand is different.
Oh, yeah.
There's 6 inches of difference. If you took a size 10 jean from all the different brands, there could be up to 6 inches in difference. And it all says a size 10. So we're not even talking about the fact that it's all made up.
Yeah.
Right? Find what fits your body. And guess what? If it doesn't fit, it just doesn't fit. It's made for your neighbor or your friend. It's just not for you.
Yeah, I've actually ordered 2 pairs of jeans and not even like a size 6 or 8, whatever. They're size 28, and I order 2 of the exact same style, both size 28, which are supposed to be measurements, not even an arbitrary size, and they don't fit the same. I'm like, this is the same brand, the same style, and 2 pairs of the same jeans don't fit the same. It's crazy.
It's maddening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not fair. So we've gone through, so if you're a client and you've gone through the headspace work and then you've gone through the purging, what's the next step in the closet to get yourself into things you love?
Well, so as we've purged, we've been able to make decisions. And again, a lot of this is when I present something to you and I'm like, well, what about this shirt? It'll happen every single time you go, I love that shirt. Ooh, tell me what you love. I love this color. Fantastic. In your workbook, you're starting to write these down. You're starting to notice patterns. Or you'll stop and go, wow. Like, okay, what is it that you don't like? Someone gave it to you. You never liked it in the first place, right? Okay, then let's stop. Let's accept that gift with love. That doesn't mean you have to carry it because it's not for you. Let's give it in love. Let's give it to someone else who needs it right now. So we're looking at that. Then we're looking at, well, this could be a maybe, right? So we've got our different sections. You're going to see very quickly the holes that are in your closet. And the beauty of that is it's not ever as much as you think. One of my favorite clients, she's a realtor, and she called me and she was like, that's it. I have to scorch earth the whole thing. I hate it all. Nothing fits. She's like, I hate getting ready. I can't even show a house. I can't even look professional. Like, okay, whoa, slow down. So we went in and we started organizing by her life instead of by category. Like the biggest thing stressing her out was getting dressed to go show a house. She needed to portray a certain image. Mm-hmm. Let's pull all of those things over here and we're going to put them right here so you can just go. Once we started pulling things apart, she realized, she's like, oh, I actually need maybe a couple pair of pants. Like, exactly. Because you keep tripping over, well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Oh, that should be in my grubby bin. That should be in my comfy bin. You know, you just keep telling yourself no, over and over again. So what does that do to your head at 7:15 in the morning? And your kids are yelling up the stairs that there's no bread and the dog is underfoot because you didn't walk it. You know, like, it's too much. You talked about this decision fatigue. It's just too much. And you say, screw it. And you grab what's good enough. And then that's the feeling you carry all day long. Good enough. You're futzing with your shirt and you're pulling up your pants. And that right there will distract you all day long. It doesn't get better as the day goes on.
No, it doesn't.
Only gets worse.
Yeah. And then you eat something salty and you gain a little bit of water and then it's even more miserable. Yeah. When I worked, I wore khaki pants and a red polo because we had a uniform in the pharmacy and it was amazing. Yes. It was like going back to, I went to a private Catholic school for part of my education and my kid's in a private Catholic school now. I'm like, do not hate the uniform. Don't hate on it. You take a skirt, you take a polo, you just need white socks. Like you don't even have to think about it. And so I think sometimes if I had to go back into the workplace, I don't think I could wear the exact same like khaki pants and a red polo every day. But having a work uniform, having that section of like, these are the pants I know fit. I can wear either one of those or 2 or 3 pairs. That just makes everything so much more simple. And as I'm talking to you, I think what women don't realize, or at least this is a light bulb moment for me, is that we could approach our wardrobe like we approach nutrition or meal planning. Like it's writing it down, thinking about it, thinking about the process. When you plan out your day in your daily planner, you know, we think about our times and our appointments and how long it's going to take us to get from A to B. But then we just randomly buy things for our clothes. And having this process could be a big game changer for a lot of women.
1,000%, because you just have to slow down and figure out who you are, how you need to show up in the world, and does your clothing reflect that? That's all we do together. And then I'm going to push you a little bit to, instead of just like, well, these pants fit, they're okay. I'm like, can we find you something maybe where you put on and say, dang, I feel good. My butt looks great. You know, you're walking a little bit sassier. Your shoulders are back. Like, let's just elevate that a little bit more, because wouldn't you rather carry that through your day than good enough? It's good enough. How about, I've got things to do and I feel really beautiful today. I mean, it's an absolute game changer. And all it takes is you slowing down, going through a process, and then you have it all in front of you. It's very exciting.
Well, and this little bit of work that someone could do in their closet with you will eliminate the 30, 45 minutes of standing there in your bathrobe trying to figure out what to wear.
Yes. And more importantly, it will eliminate all of that negative self-talk that happens, because that doesn't happen in a void. You don't just stand there and then there's nothing going on and it just becomes this data point. It's all emotional, right? I tell my clients I'm a little bit, I love a good memory. I do. I have a 1987 Duran Duran concert t-shirt and it was a great concert and it was so much fun, but I don't have it in my stuff. So I believe there's a space to honor your memories. I believe that there's a way to keep the things that you love, even if you'll never, ever wear it again, right? Like your great grandmother's wool coat or, your dad's fishing vest, but it needs to get out of the space where you're getting ready. So we can honor those memories, but we still can set your closet up in a way where you're like, bam, bam, bam.
Are you standing in front of your mirror, barely recognizing the woman looking back at you? Perhaps you're lying awake at 3 a.m., body betraying you with another hot flash or night sweat, wondering if this is just how life has to be now. As a pharmacist and women's health coach, I've walked this path, both personally and alongside hundreds of women just like you. That's why I've created 2 powerful ways to reclaim your midlife journey: the Women Mastering Midlife community and personalized one-on-one coaching. In our community, you'll find your tribe, women who understand exactly what you're experiencing. Together, we'll navigate perimenopause and menopause with evidence-based strategies, twice monthly group coaching sessions, and a judgment-free space to share your story. But if you're craving deeper, personalized support, my one-on-one coaching program offers dedicated guidance tailored specifically to your body, your symptoms, and your life circumstances. No more Googling at midnight, no more trial and error with miracle solutions that leave you frustrated and depleted. Are you ready to transform your midlife experience? Book a free discovery call with me today. You will find the link to schedule in the show notes or check out www.womenmasteringmidlifecoaching.com for more information. In just 15 minutes, we'll explore whether community membership or one-on-one coaching aligns best with your needs, because you deserve to do more than just survive this transition. You deserve to thrive. Join us in aging boldly, beautifully, and on our own terms.
And when you're not feeling it and you need to let your clothes do the heavy lifting, then we've got like some amazing color that's just going to make you feel better. Something just soft. And, you know, if you just need a big hug, we're going to have that warm, cozy sweater. So there's got to be some pieces in there that, let's face it, we don't feel it all the time. We're like, oh yeah, my God, I so don't want to do this right now. And I've got like 6 things that I know I can put on, and it does the heavy lifting. All of a sudden, my shoulders will go back, my chin will go up. I'm like, oh crap, I look pretty good. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, I was looking for something to wear for the last day of Nutcracker. I was going to actually not be volunteering, and I was going to be sitting in a chair. And I thought, it's a night at the ballet. So I wanted to look festive and nice.
Yes.
And so I ordered all these things, and I was trying them on in front of my family. And the thing that everybody liked was this ivory tweed coat with little snowflake buttons. And it's beautiful. And I took it with me to change into. But then I also have this mock neck, like reddish Fair Isle sweater with balloon sleeves and a pair of wide leg jeans and cute boots. And I put that on, and I was like, this is me. Like, this is, my neck bothers me. So I covered it a little bit, and it was a color that the red was very beautiful. I got so many compliments on my outfit yesterday. And I was like, the other one hung in a bag in the dressing room area where the costume people were working. I brought it to change into, and I never changed out of the sweater I was in because that was me. I'm a mock neck Fair Isle sweater and a pair of jeans girl. I'm not an ivory tweed with sparkly buttons girl. Yeah. No matter how much I wanted to be, it just didn't happen. And I think that's sometimes we get all wrapped up in stuff, like the idea we want to present or the thing we want to do and the way we want to look. And if we just took a minute to think about who we are and what works for us, and then every time somebody said, oh, I love your sweater, or, oh, you look so festive today, it just kept reminding me, like, dressing for myself. And and I'm the heaviest I've been in a long time. And I finally bought a pair of jeans in a size that fit me right. And I get so many compliments, and nobody's saying to me, you like have put on some pounds. No one's saying that, And so I think when we drop all that worry about going up a size in pants or trying to project something, it's definitely a game changer. And it feels good to have people tell you look nice.
I'm so proud of you, because what you did is you got to show up in who you really are before people saw almost like, how can I explain this? When you wear something that's not you and you feel that sandpaper on your soul, which is what would have happened, I think, with that jacket, you could have had 100 people tell you, oh, look how cute that jacket is. And you're like, thanks. Thanks. Yeah. But it wouldn't have mattered, right? It wouldn't have built you up. So when you wore something that was authentically you got to show up first. Your smile showed up first because it was you. It sat right. It felt right. So then when you got feedback, then that's how it just builds you up.
Yeah.
Because I
wore
really
the sweater. Yes. The jacket didn't wear me. I wore the sweater. So
yes.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Women, we need to be doing that more. We need to be showing ourselves in the clothes we're in instead of the clothes coming first.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think in this resist the urge to purge that we're both really preaching this January and beyond is to really, instead of taking that random, list off the internet or whoever says whatever on whatever channel you're following, to really just stop and be like, that's not the answer, right? So for health, I mean, how many years, and I know I'm a little bit older than you, but that 90s diet culture runs deep, man, right? So you're like, clear out just get rid of it all and go cold turkey and hardcore. And then you're sad in 3 weeks. You're sad and you're tired and you're sore.
And you're starving.
And you're starving. And then a bigger picture, there's no lights, in your house to make everything look better. It's January, it's cold, it's dark. And you're like, forget it, I'm out, right? When you would just stop and say, okay, what's the next best thing? What's the next thing that I can do that's going to be good for my path and how I want to be?
So you also shop with your clients. So what is it like to be shopping with somebody who helps you figure out what you're going to wear? Because that would be wonderful.
So much fun. I am a shopper by nature. I have made millions of mistakes in my life here on earth with disposable income. So I've nailed it down to really, again, through this workbook, you know who you are. You know how you want to show up in the world. And then all of a sudden you realize you're like, why? Maybe I only need 3 or 4 or 5 things. And then that's when we go shopping. I love to start local first. There's so many little local boutiques in our neighborhood. Like, let's keep our money in the hands of the women in our community before we head up the food chain, right? So shopping in person is so much more fun, first of all, because there's no returns.
Yes.
But you get, it's immediate. And when we shop together, I've already pre-shopped. So out of the 10 stores that are in this row, I'm like, no. We're going to these 3. I know it's probably got 4 or 5 things in each one that you can try on, right? So I'm already setting you up for success. Also, the worst part about shopping, and I beg of you, if you're shopping for something that's hard, like swimsuits, bras, and jeans are the hardest things in the world.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, everything else.
Yeah.
But take a friend, because you got to take off all your clothes, and you got to put it on, it doesn't fit. Then you got to put all your clothes back on. Then you got to go out and dig. Like, no sane person is going to do that. I can barely do it. And this is what I do. So go with someone who you can say, grab another size.
Yeah.
Grab the curvy fit, grab the boot cut, have someone be a runner for you, which will set you up for success. But don't discount when you look at yourself in the mirror. Your face will not lie. And if you have to talk yourself into it, don't buy it, because you're not going to wear it.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And it's just, if you walk in going, all right, 10% of this will work. Some people think that might be a negative way to go about shopping. But there's a whole entire store full of stuff. Clearly, it's not all going to be for you.
Yeah.
Style, size, fit, color, cut, fabric, right? That would be ludicrous to think that everything in there would be okay for you. So you're like, 10%. 10% is going to be for me. Let's dig it out and let's find it. So I think shopping with someone, no matter if they're just there for moral support, if they're really there to be as a personal shopper and stylist, it's worth everything. And you'll shop like that. Our shopping trips take 2 hours and you're done.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, my husband recently wanted a new wardrobe for his birthday, and he wanted to get some things that fit him right where he is. And, instead of trying to like, oh, well, if I lose 5 pounds, I'll fit in those jeans or whatever. And he stayed in the dressing room and he's like, okay, I need a gray button down. And I went through and I looked for every gray button down that I knew would be cut for him.
Right.
And it was the right, because the fabrics can be itchy and uncomfortable. Or he's looking for more of a casual shirt, and some of them are button downs that go under a suit. So I didn't even pull those. And he was done so much faster. And I was like, yes, I need this. Like, this
and
is
so much happier.
Yeah. Yes. Everybody. Well, we took the kids too. And I think the kids were happier that it didn't take 7 hours, because we were all waiting for Dad to try things on. So I definitely agree that having somebody there to help just weed through things, and, and also your friend or your spouse or whoever's going with you, they're not going to be as mean to you as you are to yourself. You know, like I feel like we talk so badly to ourselves, but we never talk that way to our friends. I would never tell somebody the things that I say to myself in my head about the way I look in something. So it's always good for moral support too, because they'll be honest, but in a kind way, you know, like, oh, that may not be the most flattering fit for you. And then they find something else instead of, why can't your butt not be so big? They don't say that to you. I say it to myself, but, you know, like, when did that expand? You know, those are things that I say to myself that I certainly wouldn't say to a friend. So it's a good idea.
You look in that 3D mirror and you're like, whoa, just happened here. You know what's funny too is that I think we will always, and I don't know, I guess this is just ingrained in being human, we will always look for the things that you're not super particularly happy with, right? You said it earlier, you're like, nope, not a fan of this, you know? So what I would say before we ever went shopping is, what are the best parts about you? So let's look at the things that we're going to make the best parts about you shine even more. You know, I've got great shoulders. You know, I love my collarbone. I don't know, I have really small wrists, you know, whatever it is. So instead of focusing on like all of this, well, what's going to make my butt look the least big is, how do I really show my shape in a way that I feel really beautiful? Or what is a color that can really bounce well off of my skin tone? Or, you know, things like that. So it's just that little bit of a shift too.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah. I think, you know, the older I get, the more I realize that the diet culture, the fighting to be small, the fighting to be like you know, I always say I don't want to be 25 again, but I could have my 25-year-old body back. It's never going to happen. I would love it, you know, but just accepting where you are, accepting your body and loving your body for what it can do versus how it looks is just so important. And I think having a sense of your style and what looks good on you and what fits you better, it can just, it'll change everything.
It will not only change everything outward, but so much inward. I had a conversation with a friend, and I'm at the heaviest I've ever been. It just is what it is. And one of my girlfriends is like, really? Are you serious? I'm like, oh, I just know how to dress well. She's like, oh, I'm like, I can show you all my bits and pieces that weren't there 5 years ago. And we're working in that direction. But in the meantime, I still want to feel like I deserve to feel pretty. Like, let's go back to that like little kid. And even if you were a tomboy, so I'm not talking about like a fairy princess kid who, you know, because we didn't all grow up that way, but you still like gravitated towards things that you're like, oh, that's so pretty. And it's okay to feel pretty. It's okay to want to feel that way. And there's so many ways that we can do that and still honor who we are and not spend a ton of money. A lot of my clients are like, well, I don't want to go out and spend a whole bunch of money when I'm going to lose 20 pounds on this, you know, this next year's trajectory with my health coach. I'm like, fantastic. Let's just find you a few things then to bridge the gap. But you deserve to have some things that you put on that make you smile.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying good enough. Like, our life is so much better than good enough.
Yes. Yeah. I try to preach that to everybody, that we need to sit in joy for our age, the wisdom that comes with it, the experiences that we have. We're not irrelevant. We don't need to fade into the wallpaper behind us. It's our time to stand out.
Amen, sister.
Right? I mean, I think,
yes.
And as my kids get older, you know, there's a shift of your identity. I'm no longer, I mean, I'm always going to be a mom, but it's not a toddler mom or a grade school age mom. And soon they'll be driving, and then they'll be going to school, you know, and then I'm an empty nester. So all these things, my role as mom changes, which means I feel like kind of my identity shifted a little bit, but now it's my time. Like, I have my freedom. I'm not covered in baby puke. I'm not, you know, I don't have to dress my children anymore. Like, I have more time to take on myself, and I think we deserve it, and we should stand out, you know? I think
1,000%.
They feel like we are invisible And sometimes I feel there are societal changes that, beauty is youth and all those things, which is nonsense. But I think that, when we stand back, we're also allowing ourselves to be the wallpaper. Like, we don't need to do that.
Right.
We can use our clothes to project the beauty of us inside and not be stuck, irrelevant or invisible. Those are two words that drive me crazy.
Oh, that's a hard, invisible. That's really, that like sits heavy on my chest, because I will preach from the mountaintop. Like, we have things to do in this world, and being in our closet annoyed shouldn't be one of them. But to take it further is like, we're here in this for just a blip of time, and to serve and to love. And when we're like futzing around with our clothes and we're always looking down, we're missing everything in front of us. We're missing all the ways that we can contribute. I would never want to be 25 again. Like,
no.
50 is amazing, right? And it has been my 2.0, and it's been so exciting to pour out even more, after spending, 20 plus years is pouring into my house and my kids and community. Now it's a bigger stage to say, there's so many things to do, and we get the privilege of showing up and doing them.
100%. 100%. So are there things that you think every woman should have in their wardrobe that fit them today? If they were going into an empty closet, what are the skeleton items they need to have ready to go that fit them well?
I wish I had like a pat answer for that. I think the simplicity movement, the capsule wardrobe movement, has really bulldozed a lot of women. I work with a lot of women that are like, I'm so bored.
Yeah.
Like, you've got 30 things all in neutral beige and navy and gray, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no beauty, there's no color, there's no pattern. And maybe you're not that girl, but the huge section of women like to express their creativity in the way that they dress. And they've been told that if you have 40 pieces and these are the must-haves, I have a whole entire piece of social media that talks about, the lie of the white button-up shirt, because not every woman needs a white button-up shirt.
No. No.
But we've been told that for 20 years, right? A black pair of slacks, da, 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 da. So what you need to do is figure out the life that you live and how you want to dress for it.
Okay.
And then find the things that fit. So every woman is so different. Some people will never touch a pair of jeans. Well, they're still thinking a little bit like 90s, 2000s jeans that don't give. God bless some spandex, right? That come into all of our denim now. Best.
Yes. I love stretchy.
I will push you in that and say, well, have you tried these yet? And you could still say, you know what? I'm just not the jean girl. You're like, fantastic. Then let's not be the jean girl. Let's not be the white button-up shirt girl. Right? Let's figure out what you put next to you and you go, I love that. Because there are going to be times that you do that, and that's our bar.
Okay.
What is it about this piece that you love? And then we can kind of extrapolate it a bit.
Okay. So if we figured out, I work from home. I drive children.
Yes.
I occasionally go out, but not as often as I probably would like. So I live in a lot of hoodies. These are my thing. But I think I also hoard hoodies. Like, I think if there's ever a hoodie that's from a place I've been or a store I like or a color I like, then I have so many that they're like stuck together to where I can't even see what they are. So, so what about that? What about the hoarders
that
of the
girl?
one thing? Yes.
So first of all, I just want to acknowledge that when you said you love hoodies, your voice softened up, your smile just got bigger, and you did this, right? So look at those cues when you're shopping or when you're trying things on, because it's clear that that's what you love. And so I needed you to see that a little bit. So when you go shopping, like if there might be something else, like we could push out your like sweatshirt, no hood. Maybe that could turn into a sweater. I know.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe not.
Good amount of sweaters. I never.
You never grab them.
No.
So for my collector friends, what I would say, sometimes this works really well. Do you remember when your kids were really small and the whole wide world bought them toys, and all of a sudden you could have opened a toy store? And so you boxed up half of them, and then in 3 months you'd switch them out. So you could do that. Like, if you don't want to get rid of these, then don't. They carry memory for you. I heard what you said about memories. You pick them up from certain places that you go, things that mean something to you. If you never, ever, ever wear it and it's a memory, pull it out, fold it up all pretty so you can still see, Lake Dillon at the top.
Okay.
And put it up high so that every time you see it, when you walk into your closet, you go, oh, that was the greatest summer ever. But it's not gumming up the works, I say, because you're not tripping over it trying to get what you want. So, but if you've got 20 hoodies and you wear all of them, but your space is just too crowded, then just pull a third of them out and rotate.
Okay. That's, I do have like
months, I'm going to pull another one out.
Okay. There's also like different thicknesses. Like, this is definitely if I wore this in June, I would be having hot flashes all day. But if I wear it, so I do try to change out seasons, because I think that's also important too. I don't need tank tops that wouldn't go underneath something. If I was just going to wear a sleeveless shirt, I'm not going to wear it now. I'll wear it in July, August. So having seasons too. Yeah. But I do love my hoodies.
And it's okay. You can love your hoodies. I give you permission to keep them all. But, people say, I've got to switch out for the seasons. It doesn't really work really well in Denver. I'm not going to lie, just because we get all seasons all year long. Like, it's going to be 60 on Wednesday. So, because we just live in a chaotic place. But most of the country, you're like, when it's cold, it's cold. When it's hot, it's hot. So, but it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. Again, an under the bed box is amazing. They roll, you pull them out. You can just take them all on your hanger, lay them down, slap them underneath. And now suddenly you've got, 8 inches more space for, obviously, the winter things that are going to take up more, physical space. So changing out your seasons doesn't have to be as laborious as I think we've been told it has to.
Yeah, like, try everything on, see what you're going to wear for this. It becomes like a full 2-day project.
Oh, good God, no. We don't have time for that, right?
No.
What I say is that when you're just flick through real quick, you're like, oh, this is that one. The spaghetti stain never came out. That's now in the rag bin, right? That's in the dusting rag bin or the wash your car bin. So go through like stained and torn, the stains that, will never come out after a certain time. Nobody's got time for that. And we deserve more than that. Kind of like your undergarments. Like, we deserve to have underwear that doesn't have holes in it.
Or that's stretched out beyond like the underwire is stabbing through through the bra and poking you in the side. Like, that always, I don't understand. I'm guilty of not shopping for those things as frequently as I probably should. And it bewilders me that I will happily buy a new pair of pants or a new top. But like the undergarments, why do we let them become what they become? They're the first things you put on your body.
True, but it's kind of like insurance. Like, who loves paying for something? Like, it's not the sexiest thing to, you're like, stocks, or you're like, I can get one more wear out of them. Suddenly we become like the depressionary grandma that can get one more wear out of it. And I'm all for that. Like, that runs deep in my veins. But, at the end of the day, like, just get some new socks, get some new underwear. Yes. That bra, when you take it off, when you put it on, you're like, oh, this hurts. Don't put it back in the drawer. Don't put it back in the drawer, because then it just becomes tomorrow's problem. And then that's one more thing that you put on that you take off, right? And then we start the whole thing again.
Yeah. If you grab it, it's because it's on top. And then you're like, oh, this again. Yeah, I agree. And getting fitted for a bra, it's a little uncomfortable to do it. But when you actually go through the process, it makes a whole difference.
I know. It does. I look at it for all of my clients who've had children. Like, a bra fitting is nothing. Like, you've had kids.
That's true.
In a hospital. Like, everybody's seeing your bits and parts. It's okay if a trusted woman at a Nordstrom is standing there while you're doing this and she's measuring you. And then she goes and gets them all, right? And then brings back the 5 that will work. Like, why wouldn't you do that instantly?
Yeah, I know. Well, and this summer, my daughter was getting ready for homecoming, and we have a place here that's appointment only, and you basically have the store to yourself. And so she asked her, like, what suits you? What kind of look are you going for? What colors do you like? And then we went to the dressing room, and everything she pulled fit her, and everything she pulled she liked. We actually had to weed out the one that she got instead of trying on 20 things that don't fit and, and being frustrated and, feeling like you're never going to find something. It was such an experience. And we want that for our kids, but then we don't do it for ourselves.
It's worth every cent. Can you imagine when my middle went through that? She's like, I'm just going to go to the Target. And I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
Like she kind of wasn't in a listening mode right then. So
yeah.
I can tell you how this is going to turn out, right? You're going to dig through and you're going to find 15 things and they're all going to fit different. And you're going to be mad and you're going to come home and you're going to say nothing fits. I hate the way I look. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right?
I just wish we would get rid of that narrative. Like, why do we continuously say nothing fits? Like, I hate the way I look in things instead of recognizing that it's just an inanimate object and it doesn't suit you.
It's just a piece of cloth. That's it.
So do you find that you're also a little bit of a therapist when you do these kind of things with people?
Yes. Absolutely. I proudly wear the title, Your Closet Therapist, because it really is picking apart the who you are part and a little bit of how you want to show up. Sometimes there's a little bit of timidity around that of like, well, should I be the girl that wears this? I'm like, I don't know. Does it kind of excite you? Like, should you try it on? So, sometimes women coming into their own, I work with a ton of women in transition, like a post-divorce or empty nests or, this midlife, this is who we are and this is how we show up. And so being able to help them experience that shift, again, it's just, this is who you were, but this is who you are right now. And that's okay. And let's make sure that we're dressing it well in the things that you love.
That's awesome. Well, we have talked for a while. Like I just closed my laptop for a minute to look at my timer. So that is actually a beautiful place to end. That the closet therapist will help you go through your wardrobe and recognize how beautiful you are and that you should express that in the situation you are in right now. And it's beautiful. So thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. It was great. I think that in this new year, all women should, especially us in midlife, we should all embrace the idea that we have the right and we deserve to love what we're wearing and feel good about ourselves in what we're wearing, and let the clothes be a reflection of us instead of wearing clothes, like letting the clothes shine who we are instead of the clothes wearing us.
Yeah. Forcing yourself into something figuratively, mentally, spiritually, all of it.
Yeah. We're far too wise to be forcing ourselves into things.
Yeah.
Let's be done with that this year. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to post all of your information in the show notes. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, find you on social media, it'll all be listed in the show notes below.
Very good. What a joy. Thank you, Victoria.
Thanks so much for joining me today. We will be back next week for another episode of Women Mastering Midlife. Until then, find us on Instagram at Women Mastering Midlife or Miss Victoria Bird, and join us in the Women Mastering Midlife community to continue our discussions. You'll find links to what you've heard here today, as well as ways to connect with us in the show notes below. This podcast is intended for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. Please note the hosts, guests, and experts featured on this podcast are not your personal healthcare providers, life coaches, or advisors. The content should not be considered as professional, personalized medical, psychological, or prescriptive advice. This podcast is not a substitute for consulting your physician, therapist, local pharmacist, or relevant professionals to discuss your specific concerns and situation. The topics discussed should not be used as the sole basis to diagnose or treat any medical condition, make significant life changes, or make important decisions regarding your health otherwise. Women Mastering Midlife is not responsible for any undesired outcomes resulting from actions taken based on the information provided in this podcast. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests only and do not represent any of those other individuals or entities. Always consult with qualified professionals before making significant changes to your health regimen, lifestyle, or medical plans.